to ChillChat English, the place where we make learning English relaxing and chill. I'm Alex, and today we have a really useful deep dive for you.
And I am Sarah. We are so happy you are listening.
Yeah, we really are. And since we just introduced ourselves, it is actually the perfect time to talk about today's topic. We are looking at a guide on how to talk about yourself.
Which is honestly so much harder than it sounds.
Oh, it is the hardest.
Yeah.
I mean, picture this. You are at a networking event, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a crowded dinner party where you barely know anyone.
Mm-hmm. A classic stressful situation.
Right. And someone hands you a coffee, they give you a polite smile, and then they drop the four most terrifying words in the English language. They say, tell me about yourself.
Oh, wow. Just hearing that gives me a little anxiety.
Exactly.
Oh.
Instantly, your heart rate spikes. Your palms might get a little sweaty, and your mind, which just seconds ago contained the whole rich history of your life, well, it goes completely blank.
Totally blank.
You suddenly have no idea who you are, what you do, or why you are even in that room. So if you, our listener, have ever experienced that exact moment of panic, you are in the right place today.
It is a universally humbling experience, isn't it? That sudden amnesia. And it is so fascinating because, you are the world's leading expert on yourself.
Right. Nobody knows you better than you.
Exactly. You have lived with yourself your entire life. Yet when someone prompts you with that specific open-ended question, the brain just completely short circuits.
Yeah, it really does. And that short circuiting is exactly what we are going to fix today. Our source material for this deep dive is a very simple instructional framework from our ChillChat English guides.
And it is a brilliant guide.
It is. Because what is buried inside this simple language lesson is actually a psychological masterclass in human connection. Our mission today is to deconstruct this guide's simple four-part framework. We want to extract the underlying social rules so that you can build a confident, foolproof 30-second introduction for literally any situation.
I love this approach. It is incredibly smart to look at foundational language frameworks for this kind of problem. I mean, when you strip away all the complex vocabulary, you are forced to look at the pure architecture of how we communicate.
Yeah, keeping it simple is the key.
But to understand why this specific framework works so well, we first have to understand why the brain freezes in the first place. In psychology, this is often called analysis paralysis.
Okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is analysis paralysis? What is overloading?
Well, it is the sheer open-endedness of the question, tell me about yourself, has absolutely no boundaries. So within milliseconds, your brain fires up its search engine and tries to scan your entire life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it pulls up your childhood, your current job, your hobbies, that recent vacation, your relationship status, everything.
That's way too much information.
Exactly. And then the social monitoring part of your brain kicks in and demands which of these facts is the most impressive or which one is appropriate for this specific room.
Right, because you want to sound good.
Yeah. And because the brain is trying to evaluate thousands of data points all at the same time, the system just crashes. You freeze.
Yeah.
And you usually end up mumbling something incredibly awkward, or you just state your job title and awkwardly stop talking.
That makes so much sense. It is exactly like having 300 tabs open on your web browser at the same time, and then you wonder why the computer is frozen.
That is a perfect way to put it.
So the solution isn't to think faster. The solution is to close the tabs and just use a predefined constraint. And that is exactly what our source guide provides. It breaks the answer down into small, really simple pieces.
Mm-hmm.
The very first step of this framework is designed specifically to stop the panic. The guide simply calls it the basics.
Right. When your brain is spinning out of control in that panic moment, we need an immediate, reliable anchor. We need to ground the speaker.
And the basics are perfect for that.
Exactly. Because the basics are facts that require absolutely zero brain power to remember. The source outlines 3 core details to start with: your name, your origin, and your home.
Very simple.
Yes, using the most fundamental English phrases like I am or my name is, followed by I am from and I live in.
It seems almost too simple.
Yeah.
But reading through the examples in the guide, you really see the brilliance of it. Let's look at the character Chris from the text.
Oh, yeah, Chris is a great example.
So Chris says, My name is Chris. I am from the UK, from a city called Manchester. I live in a house in London. It's old, but it's cozy.
Very natural.
And then there is Amy, who says, I am Amy, and I am from Australia. I live in a small apartment in Sydney. It's near the beach.
Notice the deliberate progression there. Saying I am from establishes your roots and your history. And then I live in establishes your current reality.
Right. It is like a timeline.
Exactly. In just a few seconds, you have given the listener a geographical map of your life. But functionally, for the speaker, reciting these easy facts acts as a sort of runway.
A runway. What do you mean?
Well, while your mouth is saying these automatic truths, your heart rate is actually slowing down. Your brain gets a crucial few seconds to catch up and relax into the conversation.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that. It buys you time to calm down.
It really does.
And what I find so compelling is how they use adjectives. I mean, Chris doesn't just give his address. He says his house is old, but it's cozy.
Yes.
And Amy doesn't just name the city of Sydney. She mentions a small apartment near the beach. They're attaching a tiny bit of visual detail to the hard facts.
That is a vital observation. When you say near the beach or cozy old house, you are triggering the visual part of the listener's brain. They instantly picture a setting.
Right, they see it in their mind.
Exactly. You are no longer just an abstract stranger standing in front of them. You are a real human being who occupies a specific physical space. It warms up the interaction immediately, and you don't even have to tell a long story to do it.
Now, I do want to challenge a specific detail that pops up right after this in the source text. It brings up the topic of age.
Ah, yes. Age can be tricky.
It really can be. In the guide, Chris confidently declares he is 31 and jokes that he is still young. Amy tells us she is 29 years old. So if we are building a foolproof, universal introduction for our listeners, should you always declare your age right away? Isn't that a bit risky depending on who you're talking to?
It absolutely can be risky, and the source material is explicitly clear about this distinction. The guide emphasizes that context dictates the rules.
Context is everything.
It really is. The text states that sharing your age, like Chris and Amy do, is fantastic when your primary goal is making friends.
Right, like at a party.
Yeah, if you are at a neighborhood barbecue or you just joined a fun sports team, age is a quick marker that helps people find common ground.
But the guide also points out the flip side, doesn't it?
Precisely. It notes that in a professional setting, like a job interview, volunteering your age right away is probably unnecessary and maybe even inappropriate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In a corporate environment, the listener's brain isn't looking for a friend. It is evaluating your skills and your experience.
It is just like dressing for the occasion, you know? You wouldn't wear a swimsuit to a business meeting, and you shouldn't necessarily bring your age into a purely professional introduction.
That is a great analogy.
It really highlights how adaptable this framework is. You have these simple blocks: name, origin, home, age, and you just snap the right ones together depending on the room you are in.
Exactly. You are just selecting right data, not inventing it on the fly.
So once you have stopped the panic, grounded yourself with the geography, and painted a little visual picture of your home, the listener naturally wonders what is next. Basically, they think, okay, I know who and where this person is. Now, what do they actually do?
Right. The natural next step.
Which brings us to the second phase of the framework, mapping your time through work, study, and family.
This is where we transition from basic facts to your lifestyle. But again, the structure demands simplicity so you do not start rambling. For work and study, the source suggests starting with really simple anchors, just I'm a whore, or I study.
Let's look at how Chris handles this in the text. He says, I am a graphic designer. I make websites and logos. But then he adds a secondary phrase that completely shifts the tone. He says, I love my job because it's creative.
That because statement is arguably the most powerful word in that entire sequence.
Why is that, though? I mean, people trade job titles all the time.
They do, and that is exactly why most networking conversations hit a dead end after 30 seconds.
Oh, true.
If you just say, I am a graphic designer, you are offering a noun, a label. The listener puts you in a mental box labeled designer and just moves on.
Boring.
Right. But when Chris adds, because it's creative, he is no longer just sharing what he does. He is revealing his internal motivation. He is sharing a core value.
He values creativity.
Exactly. Suddenly, you don't need to know anything about graphic design to connect with him. Anyone who values creativity in any field now has an emotional bridge to continue that conversation.
That is a massive shift. You are moving the focus from your paycheck to your personality. And Amy's example does something similar, but kind of from a different angle.
What does she say?
She says, I am an English teacher, and I also study photography part-time. So she gives us two distinct layers of her life.
Which is incredibly strategic. By sharing a side passion alongside a main profession, she signals intellectual curiosity.
Yeah, it shows she likes to learn.
Exactly. It tells the listener that she is multidimensional. She is a teacher, which implies she is patient and knowledgeable. But she is also a student of photography, which shows a desire to grow. It makes her instantly more dynamic. That's all for today, friends. We'll pick this up next time.
Thanks for chilling with us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, ChillChat English. See you soon.
We'll continue this topic next time.